I gotta wait. How long I gotta wait for a press record?
Go.
Welcome to the stand, where Miss Dream always has a story.
I'm Dream, a black woman with many beautiful interconnecting identities. A few I will name at this moment as we get started on this podcast journey together. A Bostonian, born and raised in the inner city, Dorchester and Roxbury neighborhoods, to a teenage single mother who has my whole heart. An educator, I've been working with youth and children since my teenage years, and formally, I have been teaching almost a decade now. That's wild to think about. An entrepreneur, I am the founder of The Chair, a black and brown centered tech platform dedicated to supporting people on their hair journey, where you can design hairboards, connect to hairstylists, and share hair care tips for a more joyous experience. I have a workable site, my prototype. It took me 2 years to build, and now I'm on this adventure that you're currently on with me. My goal for this podcast is to share stories, black stories, educator stories, entrepreneurship stories, and hair stories. I want you to leave each episode with the opportunity to gain new insight, just a glimpse into my world or the worlds that are featured on my podcasts, a little chuckle during your day or night, possibly a little anger to encourage you to advocate for justice, and hope to continue learning and dreaming. So come in and listen to the beautiful voices in the chair as they share their stories, starting with me.
Where we share stories in the chair.
Hello, everyone. This is Michelle. Michelle, can you please introduce yourself?
Hello, everyone. My name is Michelle Robinson Ewing. I am a retired naval officer. I spent 27 years in the military. I served across ranks from an enlisted sailor to an officer. I didn't like people telling me what to do, so therefore I had to make rank so that way fewer people could tell me what to do. This is freedom. This is freedom. So that's what it's been feeling like to me all this time. Freedom, not even having to worry about it.
Yeah, chopping it off and having the designs on the side.
Yes.
Your haircut is beautiful.
Thank you so much. I so appreciate that. Thank you. I've been getting nothing but compliments. I went to the rehab center where my mother is at, and the lady that's her roommate, she was like, "What'd you do to your hair?" Because she saw me the night before, and I had it back and I had it twisted up. You know how you just pin it up.
Mm-hmm.
She said, "What you do to your hair?" I said, "I got it cut." She said, "Oh my goodness." She said, "What your husband say?" I said, "I don't got one of those, so I ain't got to check in with nobody." She said, "Oh, okay. What your kids say?" I said, "Well, my oldest daughter says she thinks it looks great, but I haven't shown my youngest daughter yet." She said, "Okay." She said, "Well, huh?" I said, "Yep, I don't have no boyfriend, no nothing, so I really am not concerned." She said, "Well, you gonna have one within the next 2 weeks with that haircut."
Hey.
I said, "Oh my goodness." I said, "Well," she said, "because I know they think they like it long, but they like to look at it. But with the one they want to walk down the street with on their arm, honey, yeah, they be them cuts." I said, "Oh, okay, well, I'll keep you posted." She's like, "And I want to know all the dirty details." So, it's just been, it's really been good. It's really been good. And because I am working to tap into my divine feminine energy, it gives me the ability to do more things to bring that out, because being retired military, it's a lot of thinking. And when I say masculine and feminine energy, it's more about whether you're in your head or whether you're in your body, in your heart. It has nothing to do with what society says is, female and male. It's just the energy. Masculine energy is very analytical and you're always thinking and stuff like that. Where the feminine energy is in the heart, we do a lot of feeling and stuff like that. And everybody has both. Everybody has yin and yang. I'm just used to operating in the yang, like that's the masculine. And I was a naval officer, right? You leading people, you're making decisions, you're doing this, you're doing that. And so because I'm working on moving more into my, feminine energy and being in the energy of receiving, this helps me bring it out more, right? Because I'm more conscious about how I'm carrying myself, how I dress, and things like that, just to help me bring it out a little bit more.
I think that's interesting because people would argue that feminine energy comes from long hair and like being
Mhm.
able to whip it and stuff, and the fact that you're like you can see your face and you shape your face and you have that is this a different definition of what femininity can look like.
Yes.
And for me it's the same idea when it comes to leading. I've been, of course, on social media and people are talking about this feminine and masculine energy thing, and I'm like, well, if you identify how you identify, isn't it just an adjective, and then we are adding all of these other attributes to this? So being like you're a naval officer and you lead and you are a woman, could it just be that instead of attributing it to masculinity or femininity in general?
Right. I hear what you're saying, but I'm not
Mm,
even talking about masculinity and femininity.
okay.
I'm talking about masculine and feminine energy,
Okay.
right? Which is a little separate from masculinity and femininity. When I speak from an energetic perspective, I'm purely talking about analytical. Like masculine energy
Mm,
is about providing and protecting the energy of it, because there's a lot of thinking, because remember we have both. Every person has both masculine and feminine energy, if that makes sense. It's just society tells us based on gender which one we're supposed to be allowing to be the dominant
I
energy.
see. But couldn't feminine energy also be
Yes.
considered protective and
Oh,
and providing? I think that's
it
my
looks
problem with the
well, it
idea
looks
of
a
it.
little different.
Okay.
Well, when it comes, this is purely from energy, like from
Mm,
on a spiritual level,
okay.
right? This is on a spiritual level. Feminine energy is more nurturing,
Okay.
right? It's still, you mama bears are still protective.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? But it's the more of the we do more of the coddling and the caretaking. You know what I mean? The
Mm,
affairs of the heart,
mm,
where would they say with masculine energy, because we have both, right?
mm,
When you're going to protect your child, you moving into your masculine energy because you're thinking, how am I going to protect this child?
mm,
But when the time comes to caretaking for your child and allowing them to be who they are, that comes from the heart, if that makes sense. Let me, how can I explain it? This is how it was explained to me. Feminine energy is about receiving. Like the left side of our body is the feminine side of our body. The
mm,
right side of our body is the masculine side of our body. And
mm,
if you know about how your brain is wired, it's opposites. So the right side of your brain is the creative side,
mm,
and it's the left side of your body. Your feminine energy is the creative part of you. If you look at it as femininity, we are the creators, right? We create life in our
mm.
bodies.
Okay.
The masculine side, the analytical side, that's the left side of your brain where you all up in your head. You
Mm,
all up in your head. You know how you see some people where they're very stoic, they have no emotions,
mm-hmm.
they are just like computers.
Mm-hmm.
They're all in their masculine energy. So you have men that can be in their feminine energy too. Most men who are creative,
Mm,
they are using their feminine energy. So it's energy,
mm.
not what society is saying, what is male and female, or what is masculinity or femininity.
Okay.
It's purely about a energetic thing.
That's so help me think about this, because
Sure,
in
sure.
society, you know how they always say like
Mm-hmm.
masculine or feminine, right? It's just binary thought. And now,
Exactly.
based on all of our research, we know we have non-binary, and we know that sexuality and gender is a spectrum, right? We understand that.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have you read, or are you in the field of practicing spirituality having that spectrum? Is that does that exist in your world?
Well, in my world, it has nothing to do with gender.
Mm,
It has to do just with what energy you're tapping into. When I'm going to create something, I have to tap into my feminine energy because that's in my body. When I need to analyze something or get into my business, I'm analyzing, I'm making decisions, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. I'm in my masculine energy, and we all have both. It's just which one you are invoking in order to take care of your business or whatever it is that you're doing. So it's purely energy. It don't have nothing to do with these yokes that society put on us about, oh, well, this is what a female is supposed to be like. This is what a male is supposed to be like. Say if it was a perfect world, right? If you say in a perfect world and a woman could spend the majority of her time in her feminine energy because she has a male who spends the majority of his time in his masculine energy, and his mindset is, my job is to provide and protect, right? My wife takes care. If you look at old family structures, right? Let's look at old family structures where the dad went out to work and he provided, and there was clear lines of providing and protecting, and the mom was the one who stayed home with the kids and nurtured the kids.
The gender roles.
Right, those gender roles, right? So she stated she nurtured the kids and everything like that. She was able to be primarily in her feminine energy, right? But when she went to work, if she went to work, you got to be in your masculine energy. You can't go to work and be in your feminine energy. Not, you could be in your femininity, like you can look like a girl, you can act like a girl. What society says is acting like a girl, right? You can do all those things, but you're still handling business, which requires math, analytics, da 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 da. So you're in your thinking mode. You're thinking. Masculine energy is thinking. Feminine energy is feeling.
Yeah.
So we all have both. If that makes sense.
No, that makes sense.
We all have both.
I think the part for me that's triggering is the fact that the word masculine we already associate with handling business and running and demanding, and they're the thinkers, while femininity is always attached with feeling and heart and like caring too much and things like that. So when those same two words are used for masculine and feminine energy, for me, I'm like, oh, we're still highlighting a stereotype here, but you're like trying to help me understand that the word is just the word itself as a descriptor, but it doesn't necessarily have all the stereotypes or connotations with that word in general. So for me, that's I would definitely want to dig more into that in terms of the thought process behind it, because when I first started teaching, someone would be like, oh, you're a woman, of course you can be a great educator because you are a caretaker. And I was just like, I have so many thoughts about that statement. And at the same time, I'm like, well, I am running a classroom. I have to focus on X amount of kids, and this is considered very feminine, but it's like eliminating the leadership aspect. It's eliminating the fact that I can command a room, and not many people can do that with children to be able to achieve goals and at the same time. But they're like, well, just because you're a woman, you're definitely a better educator. And I'm like, that is just so shallow.
Where we share stories in the chair.
Look, it's my commercial. We will be right back.
It's more than just a bad hair day. It's a journey. Finding the right hairstyle isn't easy, nor is finding the right stylist or the right products. Looking in every corner of the web gets messy, overwhelming, and exhausting. All the ads, the articles, the products, the videos. It shouldn't be this hard, but it is. And now, it isn't. The Chair. A black and brown centered platform where you can design hairboards, connect to hairstylists, and share hair care tips for a new, joyful path on your hair journey. Avoid the clutter, save yourself hours, months, and even years of research and poor trial and error. Everything you need and only what you need is in one place. Hairboards made by people like you, for you. Find the right products, the right people, the right answers for you, stress-free. Join the chair community and make every day a great hair day. When you share your pain, you allow others to help you. And when you share your success, you help others get theirs. Lean on the chair. We got you. No stress, no strife. In the chair. The chair. The chair. All right.
Oh, and if you're interested to learn more about my experiences as a Black woman and educator in Guangzhou, China, I wrote my first ebook titled Nowhere and Everywhere, Captured Emotions of a Beautifully Broken Love Story. It is on lulu.com. Take a read and see some beautiful photography of mine. Enjoy the rest of the show.
The chair.
Right. Well, I would say if you're willing to look at it a little differently,
Yeah.
I would say as a woman,
Mm.
you have an advantage when it comes to being an educator because as a woman, society has taught us to be the nurturers, right? That's what society has taught us, to be the nurturers. And so if you're in your feminine energy, because I can be in my feminine energy and walk around here looking like a male model, saying the typical male model, right? What we say is what a male is supposed to look like. And I can still be in my feminine energy. I can still show love. I can still nurture. I can still do all those things. This is just the wrapping, right? This is just the wrapping. But as a woman, because we are such nurturers, you have an advantage. You can do both. Men have to work harder at the feeling piece because society has pretty much robbed them of that, right? Because if they show feelings, they're punks, they're soft, they're this, they're that. They don't even allow them to be in their feminine energy without making fun of them. You know, and then when women are more in their masculine energy, they call us
Men.
bitches,
Oh, that's
right?
Yeah.
That's what they call us, bitches, because we know how to command a room. So everybody can do both. It's just society has made it this pigeonholed. Society has pigeonholed us based upon gender. When we're all fluid, we have both. We have masculine energy and we have feminine energy. The masculine energy is just the thoughts, and the feminine energy is the feelings. And we all have it. You have some men who lean more into their feminine energy, and they're heterosexual men, but they want to assume that they make they must be gay. First of all, ain't nothing wrong with being who you are, right? But we have all these societal labels that we want to pin on people based on what energy they operate in, right? And you can have a masculine male, like say the stereotypical masculine, who can be in his feminine energy. He kisses his son. He hugs his son. He does. That's the feminine energy. It's the heart stuff. It's the warm and fuzzy stuff. But the thinking is the energy. So women, we have both. Like I was a naval officer, but I tell you what, I made a better naval officer because I also knew how to tap into my heart. With some of my male counterparts, they just knew the thinking piece, right? Because society doesn't really allow them to go below their neck because then they start making fun of them. Whereas a woman, I have the advantage of doing both. I can drop down below my neck and I can show love and affection and all that other stuff. And I can also go back up into my head and command a room. So I actually feel very fortunate to be a woman because I feel like I have more room to show up in my full capacity where men are required to stay in their head all the time. You know what I mean? Which makes it hard for them to process emotions, which is what contributes to early death, which contributes to heart attacks, strokes. But now think about it. Women are catching up in those numbers because we've also started getting into, I got to be in my head, I got to be in my head, and disconnecting from our bodies. Because we feel like when we get into these big roles that we can't show emotion, which is basically disconnecting from who we are anyway. It's like, it's okay for us to be in our bodies. It's okay for us to show emotions, more emotions other than anger. Because I was really good at that, child. I could shut it down, but without showing vulnerability, without tapping into that feminine side and actually showing real feelings other than, anger, I gave myself high blood pressure. I started experiencing high blood pressure. Those are the things that come with staying in your masculine energy, not male or female. I'm talking about energy. When you stay up in your head and you're not processing your emotions, let me tell you something. If you're not crying on the outside, you're crying on the inside. And when you're crying on the inside, it's affecting your organs, right? Your liver, your kidneys, your heart. How many of us have high blood pressure, diabetes, all these things because we have disconnected from our feminine energy? We don't want to process our emotions because we look at emotions as weakness. Think of this: the fact that we think someone being in their feminine energy automatically makes them weaker. Women are the strongest mofos on the planet. We bringing babies up in here. So I am not offended when somebody say, "Oh, you acting like a girl," right? Because a girl is stronger than you, so it's okay, right? I don't care. Do you know this stuff? You know what our bodies go through. You know what I mean? And on a societal level, the things that we have gone through, being minimized and oppressed and things like that, it doesn't offend me when people want to say how I'm supposed to behave. I know who I am, and I know how I show up. I know that I done been out there with the best of them, and I can shut it down because I'm a warrior. I am a warrior. I grew up in Brooklyn, New York. I grew up in a fighting family. You know what I mean? Both sides, brawlers. You know what I mean? So I know I am a warrior. I joined the Navy. For crying out loud, wasn't nobody else in my family going into the military. You know what I mean? And here my little self go, I'm like, join the Navy. What? They were looking at me like, are you crazy? 27 years later. And then I became a surface warfare officer. I am a warrior. So there's no doubt about it that I can shut it down. Like, I can definitely compartmentalize and disconnect from my heart when the time needs to be. But that's also dangerous for me because it contributed to my hypertension. Not processing. Now that I'm processing and allowing myself to connect, my whole body to connect, my blood pressure has gone down. I'm working to a point where I'm off medication because I'm okay with tapping into my feminine energy. But I can walk around here and presenting any way the hell I want and still be in my feminine energy, because that to me just means tapping in my body from the neck down.
That's beautiful. That's beautifully said. Beautifully said. Michele, thank you so much for sharing your stories in the chair. Like, I truly, truly appreciate it. Like, I've learned so much today.
Thank you. I'm glad I could help. I really am. And I'm so proud of you. I just want to tell you, I see, I'm not on Facebook a lot lately because I'm, taking care of the parents, but from what I see, I'm talking about loving to see you grow. And I'm loving watching you be your authentic self and creating the room for other people to be their authentic selves, because I really think that's what's going to save us, is allowing people to show up fully and authentically without having to fall in line with other people's expectations, unless that is the choice that we are making, right? It's like Niyonu would say, when we're choosing certain things, be okay with our choice. She's like, people not making you. She said, when I go into corporate America and I decide to perm my hair, they're not making me do anything. I'm deciding to do that because I want people to pay more attention to what I'm saying than what's going on with my hair, right? But understand, we're always at choice. We're always at choice. I think with the way she said, how many times have I put myself on the auction block, right? That was the term she used. putting ourselves on the auction block. She was like, and when I put myself on the auction block, I know fully well that's what I'm doing. And I know why I'm doing it, right? Understanding that we are always at choice and we get to show up and be our authentic selves. So we got to be able to deal with the law of correspondence. It's cause and effect, as above, so below. And I mean, we can make anything happen as long as we keep, our thoughts and, our words straight and, all those things. But you're so beautiful. And I'm always so excited to see what the next thing is that you're doing, because you are just opening up so much space, and I'm so proud of you.
Welcome to the chair, where Miss Dream always has a story.
Thank you for listening to an episode of The Chair. I, of course, would love your continued support. Let me know what you think of this episode by doing all the things. Subscribe, comment, and come back next week, every week. Enjoy the rest of your beautiful day. Or if you are like me, enjoy that moonlight and that 1 star under all your city lights. Love you. Talk to you later.
The chair.
How long I gotta wait for a press record?
Go.
We support her. Shit.
Do your...
Welcome to the chair, where Miss Dream always has a story. Where we share